Hi, welcome. On this video, I want to do another follow-up pertaining to, banning, certain individuals off my YouTube channel by way of leaving nasty, hateful, personal, trying to get personal comments, all triggered off, by way, again, you see my Flipping the Script series. I encourage you to watch it. Triggered off from me, auditing a product. Okay, I'm going to get into this here, making the distinction here in a minute in terms of, why it is, that people get triggered off when, again, you're confronting the real issue. But, not getting personal, although these trainers take it very personal. Understand, this is the problem in the dog training world, is this inability to actually talk about what the real issue is. And again, this is related to, again, I'm a big proponent of freedom of speech. I'm anti-censorship. Because here's the thing, freedom of speech matters when you're in the middle of a problem where, again, the truth is the desired goal, working through it. So the issue about being offended, again, they have to ask the question, well, being offended based on what exactly? Okay, is it based merely on just engaging in just personal attack, just being nasty and hateful? Is that, what do you do with that? That's the question. Those who don't want to talk about the real issue, but just will launch into this diatribe of just, and this is the thing to understand, of just making it stop. I mean, that's really where we're at. Understand that this whole thing about when I talk about, and this is a pattern. Understand, I've experienced this before. So understand, this isn't my first rodeo. If people want to know, and I'll talk about this in a moment, in this whole issue about censorship and where's that line? How do you deal with on social media when it gets to that level of just the amount of hatred and personal attack? And in my case, again, of actually receiving death threats, by way, again, of talking about the real issue. And so when I say, well, this is my first rodeo, prior to, again, me putting out this series, I, again, raised my voice at one point, putting out similar videos. And what result it was, again, the same type of thing. It started, again, nothing about understand something here, nothing about the real issue. I haven't had a single balanced, force-free, or otherwise trainer respond directly to what I'm saying in terms of a process, and be specific about the role of influence itself, control. Again, line this up with the parenting example, talking about the blame shifting part of it, going into the specifics of, again, talking about what training is, a intervention, and then even this issue about motivating dogs that way at the beginning, lining all this up. Nothing about that, because again, that's the point. You can't talk about that which you've already sold out to. Understand that, wonder why it is. You go on social media, none of these trainers, and understand that I knew that. I already know that going in. Understand that I already know that the responses are going to be about personal attack. Okay, understand. And this, I've mentioned this too in some prior videos. You see that happening now with these balanced dog trainers who are kind of, they're virtue signaling. They're trying to leverage their popularity. They're talking about certain, situations that are happening, but their motives for doing that, people have to understand, it's not about truly caring, and I can say this, with confidence about those situations a certain way about the welfare of dogs, because here's the point, the hypocrisy of all, the very idea that they're marketing while they're doing this is what is causing dogs to be destroyed, is setting in motion a counterfeit picture for many dogs and owners, is the problem. And so, it's like to try to reconcile, what these trainers are doing, you can't do it. So therefore, again, when you understand what's going on here, things start to make sense. And so again, putting out specific information, because they're in defensive lockdown mode, When I say there's nowhere to go here, that's the truth. But then look at the state of the dog training world. I keep going back to that. Just take a look around. When people want to get upset with what I have to say and want to get personal, but then at the same, time, won't respond directly to what I'm saying. So all to say, getting back to this whole issue about, again, prior to, when I put up some videos, I was like, okay, I'm just going to let the comments roll, open up. I'm not going to shut down anybody. I'm just going to deal with it. And guess what happened? It was all just personal attack and hatred at such a high level. I even got death threats, by way of telephone call from the UK. Okay, I mean, I was dealing with all this stuff was rolling in because my thing was, because that's the problem. I understand this is the same thing here with just recent situations saying, well, why would you shut him down? You called him out. Okay, and I want to be specific with this. No, I didn't call him out. Okay, I called out the product he's selling. Okay, understand this is the identity issue problem with those who have their very identities wrapped up in this idea. That's how they identify. Okay, dogs are an extension of that identity. This plays in this whole talk about narcissism. Okay, we'll talk about this. If you look at the characteristics of narcissism, go do your own research. And there's like 12 different indicators, and you line this up with this idea that's being promoted in the dog training world, you'll check all the boxes. I'll do a couple videos about this. It lines up. Dogs being devalued, all the false narratives, the hypocrisy, how it creates a false image, right? It's a false image of nature, okay, based on appearances, lack of depth. Okay, I'll roll through all this stuff in another video. And so those who are trying to point their finger towards me to say, oh, Dale's the narcissist. Well, I'm like, well, based on what? What are you basing that on? Well, based on merely the fact that I'm putting specific information that is, because people's identities are wrapped up in this. Well, you get very upset. Can't talk through it, right? So people will protest to say, well, you called him out. No, I called out the product, and you should let him have a voice. Well, he had that opportunity, and people choose to just start to just go into this whole thing about getting personal and just going off the rails. It just doesn't stop, and still nothing about what I'm saying specific. Well, yeah, I'm going to put that line there because prior to, when I didn't put that line there, that's why I pulled down the. It's like, because that's what happens. Understand? You get such, this thing on a spiritual level too. I can tell some stories here about some of the stuff I've encountered, unbelievable stuff with people, what they're tied into. I don't believe in accidents, coincidences. I've had people, trolling me for years, even when I'm quiet, leaving. So understand this stuff is like, this takes on another kind of layer here. People have to understand, once you understand what's really going on. But all to say, okay, that, I talk about a product, that's what I'm doing here. I'm saying this is a defective product. Basically flipping the cereal box over, and I'm telling you the ingredients. I'm saying, pay attention. This is like marketing. These people are just selling this stuff, and they don't want to talk about the real issue because they're making money. It tastes good. And God forbid you should start to break it down and say, this is like poison, okay? This is like, these trainers just keep on going. So it's a product. So people want to say, I'm calling him out or her out or whatever. That's the issue here. It's like saying, well, dog trainers are somehow different. They're in a special category, and they're untouchable, because really that's what's going on. A lot of these trainers, because my question would be, the trainers, okay, they're blame shifting dogs. Well, who actually is in control of that? Is there some sort of a mechanism to show, okay, how many dogs are they blaming? What's really going on there? See, that's the problem. They control all that. The dog training world. So the trainers have gotten to a level with this idea of things, and you wonder why the dog training world's in the state that it's in. Well, there is truth. And that triggers off, and you start to say, no, there's not more than one way. That's based on this statement. There's more than one way to train a dog, right? Well, then you consider, appearances, response, and I talk about, the context, the assumptions being made at that level, inherently flawed, because my response was, well, how are you actually establishing that those responses can be trusted? Without the core ingredients I talk about as part of it in terms of revelation, in terms of control and influence. Like that's the big thing. To ask yourself the question: how are these trainers establishing, as the dogs are responding, doing the sit down, come and stay, that it is what it is? Well, they're assuming wrongly. I talk about this whole issue about the level of dogs stinking thinking. I'm going to put some more videos on this issue because it's important. When you talk about coming on the other side with a predictable outcome. But all to say, getting back to this issue of censorship, understand that yes, freedom of speech is required to work through an issue. But when you get this issue about getting personal attack, because understand the motives of these trainers aren't good. they are just totally locked down. They're totally hardwired into this idea. They aren't going to confront it. It's a type of belief system. It really is. It's like dogs are being sacrificed on the altar of this. It's got to that level. And so it's an ideology. And so this is why you wonder why these trends get so nasty, and they really do. And they'll even want to get their followers involved in everything. And so if you don't have that line there to say, okay, well, you start going, no, I'm not going to deal with it. And then they'll complain, oh, Dale's, shut me down, all this. No, I just don't want to, I don't want to wake up in the morning, having my cup of coffee, and because I get emails on comments left, and here's the thing is I appreciate, okay, I don't want to take away from this. I get a lot of positive comments and a lot of encouraging comments. So those out there that are, watching the series, leaving positive comments, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the comments. So keep them coming, okay? So, but I'm talking about this other issue, why people wonder why. So because people want to play the victim card. They say, oh, I just want to. But again, it's difficult because when you're talking through an issue, and so understand when I'm doing my flipping the script series, my whole goal all along, okay, even when I put it up and taken it down because of this type of, because it's nasty, okay, understand the dog training world is a really corrupted, nasty place, okay, it's not a place that I want to be involved with. I'm not, because I don't identify with that process anyway, but it's not a world you want to live in. I mean, God forbid. But when you're engaging and actually talk about the real problem at this level and being very specific, okay, and so it's interesting that the balanced dog trainers actually leave the most nasty comments in the force free. Well, that's interesting, okay? I mean, because my whole thing is not I don't identify with an ideology. I don't identify as a balanced or force free trainer. I identify with the truth, okay? I mean, and I said this before years ago, and understand this is what these trainers have never done. The truth is the truth. It is what it is. I'm going to ask the questions that need to be asked of myself, and I'm going to do a proper audit here. And it is what it is. Let the chips fall where they may. And if that means I'm going totally against the grain, well, so be it. I mean, and so the point I'm at now, where it's like talking about the real issue, what's information specific. It's about the product. Understand what's going on here. So when I get censored, again, a copyright strike, for me by way of a trainer, right? I talked about the situation. Well, yeah, I take offense to that because it's just hypocrisy. Based on what? Not based on me personally attacking the trainer, based on the fact that, okay, I don't want Dale, using my video to go against the narrative, right? It's you can watch those videos. They're on Rumble, okay? Understand the videos I'm talking about. I put them on Rumble. Rumble's more of a, freedom of speech platform. So anyone that says, well, YouTube decided this, or YouTube, okay, it's a great platform for, it's still the most popular one. But in terms of, being shut down or censorship, well, it's a major problem. Anyone knows that. And so it doesn't mean that their criteria for imposing a strike on you has anything to do with following certain guidelines where it's like, well, he engaged this way. Okay, it's about the narrative, right? It's about, or just to say this is going to do it. Because the response I got back from them was like, you could fight that, but this is our policy. Basically just to say, well, we just don't want to deal with it. If someone, complains, even though it's under fair usage, and that's the problem. So when I'm, going to Rumble, I have a lot of my videos over on Rumble right now. So, because you have to be smart. You say, well, because, I put out a video about what happened to a balanced dog trainer in UK. Has his channel, woke up in the morning, his videos, everything gone, shut down, from a complaint from another balanced trainer. Okay. I mean, that's where we're at. So, you lose 2,000 videos, you're basically nothing backed up. Well, how terrible is that? I mean, totally wrong. Regardless of how people go on about things, because that's the thing. So understand this is about, popularity. So the dog training world's all twisted. All to say that, yeah, that line is there. People can think of it however they want, but when you go through and, start reading the comments and just understand that this person has no interest, they just want to just threats and just, trying to, oh, he's a coward and, you're scared. No, I'm not scared of anything, okay? Understand, my background, I'm retired police, but it's not about boasting that way. It's just say, listen, say whatever you want. I'm going through it. I'm going to talk about it. The issue here with censorship, again, that's, the ability to be able to be offended, but based on what? Information. So putting specific information. So yeah, I'll just say that I will remove and ban people who want to just engage in that type of behavior, because I don't want to read it. It serves no purpose. Go somewhere else. You haven't responded to anything I've said directly, so what's the point? Okay, I'm saying the dog training world's so twisted up that way. And so, yeah, you see these balanced dog trainers, you see these trainers, they'll trash talk all day long on social media. Go read their social media. I put a couple examples up there, how nasty they get towards each other, getting very personal. And then, if you challenge what they're marketing based on specific information, they lose their mind. Suddenly they're the victim, and they want to censor you, want to shut you down. So just hypocrisy, okay, understand. So, and so getting back to my goal, we talk about the flip and the script series, okay, understand that going into it, I already knew that it wasn't really about the dog trainers that way, okay. I'm calling it a product. This is for the public, okay. This is for people to, be able to glean the information and understand, because I already know that the majority of these trainers, balance and force free, they're not coming back, okay. It's not like they're going to say, oh, I see it now. I'm going to, reverse course here. I'm going to offer refunds. I'm going to change my ways and, approach training for what it represents. Some might, but the majority aren't going to do that. Okay. It's a joke for anyone to say, oh, they're open-minded, they're going to read. No. So I'm just putting out the information and let the public decide. That's all. That's it. Empower dog owners. I say, hey, when your dog gets blamed, don't be surprised. Okay. Understand that's really what it is. Say people that their dogs were destroyed maybe 5 years ago on the advice of these balanced force-free trainers, saying, well, you just can't do anything here. The dog, it's the DNA of the dog. Well, you were lied to. Okay, understand that based on the process that they're advocating, and I show it. Okay, so understand that this is a ethical, okay, moral issue that's going on here. Understand that everything doesn't line up for a reason, because these trainers have sold out. They cross these lines, and now we're at. And now I'm putting out the information, and guess what? Of course it's going to, trigger off all these trainers, and it's going to get really nasty. So I'll just say that, yeah, I'm going to ban people and remove comments, based on, and keep that limited, because, again, my goal is to let people have a voice, really. But when you get to that level of just trying to get personally attack people and you try to get nasty, there's no need of that. Like, go somewhere else. If you want to address what I'm saying specifically, absolutely. We'll have a conversation, we'll have a debate or whatever, but no interest in that stuff. And people, again, you go read the comments. In fact, interesting thing was when all these comments were left on my channel, I made, kind of issued a warning here. I said, stop, or I'm going to ban you and remove the comments. Just stop. Then went into another diatribe. So no, gone. So that's it. So it's not like I don't, say, hey, I'm not going to listen to it. Go someplace else. You can put up your own. You got your own channel. Okay, you can put up the videos you want. You can, if that's what you get off on with letting people, and you're part of that, go for it. That's your thing. It's your channel. You can do what you want. But in terms of what I'm doing, the goal of my Flipping the Script video series, okay, it's information specific. My goal has always been cover off. Understand where I'm going here. I'm not going through everything. Balance training, force-free training. I'll take a little detour, okay, once in a while on something that comes my way. But I've always had, again, in terms of where I'm going with the series, is going through all the concepts. And this is where it comes through balance, force-free, drive-based, play-based, tools, counter conditioning, behavioral adjustment training. Ones are coming up here, calming signals. Okay, it's all related to going through all the various navigating course, and then continuing on. The next breakdown I'm going to be doing is going to be a very extensive breakdown by way of the conversation between Ivan Balanoff and Larry Crone over the role of the remote call. A very interesting conversation to kind of interject into, because again, when I understand something, when I look at certain videos as a reference point to use under fair usage, they're helpful because they offer a guide. Okay. What are these people saying? Let's go through this, going through all of it. So they're used as a kind of a roadmap. But again, when I say fair usage, it means that, it's not about getting personal. It's about information based. And if you hear me, sometimes I'll use, in the case of the Ivan Balanoff video that a copyright strike went on. It's amazing to me because the video itself was about him talking about the problem in the dog training world, force free. In fact, on his social media, he left a comment there say, "Feel free to respond." You know, I guess he thought through just, typing comments, but I was like, oh, yeah, I'll respond to, I'll make it part of my Flipping the Script series. And I only use like 2 minutes of the video, because that's just all I needed. Okay. That's all I need when I talk about that. And in fact, Robert Cabral's video, I use like 41 seconds because that's the point. It all starts at the beginning of a process. I don't need much sometimes because of what they're saying. So I'll stop there. But, other videos, I'll use a little bit more or whatever, go through it. But the whole point of everything is to say that, listen, it's information specific. The same thing I get accused of. Well, Dale, if you like, Miracle Canine. Oh, if you're really confident in what you have to say, then, you'll be open to a debate. Oh, yeah, let's debate. Let's debate. Okay, but the same can't be said for, say, other people that have trophies behind them and then they want to engage in a copyright strike. That doesn't even make sense. So, but again, yeah, I'm willing to have that conversation. I'm willing to go through all of it point by point and engage that way. And so that's the goal. So again, all to say that I'm pro freedom of speech, anti-censorship, but when you want to get to that level of, and again, some of the comments are so nasty and hateful, how are you going to deal with it? I know what generates this through the whole issue that's going on in the dog training world. You can see it. It's not like just don't take my word for it. Go into the threads of these trainers. Go into the Zach George videos and go through the comments and look at, this has been like a pattern for forever. And it's only getting worse. The level of personal, because that's the whole thing. So people want to say, oh, this is science. This ain't science. If it's science, you could actually talk about the real issue. So it fails at that level right there. This is not real science. And then you get other trainers like, say, Zach George, and they start bringing all these other ideologies in, okay, about, talking about patriarchy and, talking about, toxic masculinity. Like really, like where's it's brought into a ready-made ideology. So of course you can bring everything into it, okay, because there's no truth. Truth is subjective. So if truth is subjective, anything goes, everything's permissive. That's the thing to understand here. So as soon as I say, well, there is truth, there is a standard, this is how it lines up, this is the role of the owner, this is the role of influence, now I get a real problem. Right? Think about that, right? Because someone's coming out, someone's stepping out saying, here it is, but then connect all the dots. It all makes sense. And then now, of course, the problem, because now you got not just one group, because here's this back and forth between balanced and force-free trainers. You have one group, you have saying, oh, I'm grouping together, saying, no, they're both wrong, okay? Well, now that's really a problem, right? Now balanced dog trainers can't play both sides of the fence anymore, right? See, that's what you have to understand what's going on here. But then it makes sense as to the balanced dog trainers are playing the game. They're gaining through this. They've been exploiting this the same way, and so it's a moneymaker for them. And now, but then it doesn't stop the big problem. Understand? You have to look at the big picture too. Why do you think the force-free movement's taken over? Okay, it's a perfect storm. You got societies becoming more permissive in their attitudes. They take a hold of that. Force-free balanced dog trainers are already compromised. They're losing their tools. That's symptomatic of that. But then it's heading to this level of, you want to be a dog trainer? Guess what? Okay, this is where it's going. Okay, pay attention here to what's happening. You want to be a dog trainer? You got to sign off on the pure positive force-free agenda. Otherwise, you can't participate. Right? It's happening now. Okay, understand. So balanced dog trainers, understand something. Anyone that wants to support these balanced dog trainers, understand what you're buying into. Okay, you're going to be just washed out. Okay, as this stuff, understand that's what's happening. You're going to be kicked off the fence. It's happening now. And balanced dog trainers don't care. They're all in because it's the same thing. They've played into this idea, but they're compromised. Okay, so if you really understand what's going on here, this is why when they're challenged, say, hold on a second, why are you using a negative? You use something more positive to generate a response. Go watch the video I did on the Jamie Penrith, where he's on the Good Morning Britain show, and it leads up to that moment. Even the host is sitting there at a certain point hearing the information saying, I'm not convinced, like that, that seems cruel to use remote collars. Think about it. That's really kind of a reflection of society hearing the information, but it builds up to the moment where the person from, Dogs Trust, makes the statement of saying, well, listen, we show that, You don't need these collars. You don't have to use an adversity. You don't have to use a negative. Use something more positive. So we just gets the issue. What is the role of influence? The free will of the dog. I talk about that. It's, again, in terms of its role. Intercepting. Okay, the dog's state of mind. Interrupting. Okay, it's about, again, the dog's being dialed into both the relationship and the dog's state of mind. Versus, and this is where you see all these balanced dog trainers. Rewarding bad behavior to create good behavior. Where do you think that's coming from? All right, changing the focus, right? Using a motivator. But think about again, I talk about those themes of bribery, accommodation, negotiation, shifting focus. It appears to generate calmness, right? Confusion, right? All built into this idea. So I would encourage anyone, again, you don't even have to own a dog, okay, to figure this stuff out, okay? I mean, it's helpful to, again, talk about this system of training to be, interacting with a dog, I call them the 1 percentile dogs. That's going to definitely, get you dialed into this system. But my encouragement is really think about everything I'm saying. There's nothing hidden. You can put everything I say to the test. Okay, there's no agenda here that way at all. I'm putting out the information so that people who listen to what I'm saying can make an informed decision. But understand something here. If you come into agreement with balanced training or force-free, you've already identified a certain way. Okay, you've accepted a certain idea of things, and it's like deprogramming. Okay, it's almost like a cult. You gotta come out of it. You gotta shake loose from it, and that's a hard thing to do for many because you've already crossed those lines. So you get involved in the blame shifting part of it. It seems to make sense, right? Okay, well, it must be the DNA of the dog. Then see, this is the problem. So all to say, again, I'm going down a little bit, going off course here, talking about my, originally I talked about censorship, but understand something here. My goal here is to put out the information so people can understand what's happening. I'm going to be putting up more content going along, but my Flipping the Script series, it's to cover off with that series and then, kind of refocus on, again, the system of training, what makes it special, because that's ultimately what it is. I'm here to help people on their journey. I'm here to, offer a clear way forward. I'm here to connect the dots for people. I'm here because I really do 100% care about dogs and owners the right way. And really think about what I'm saying, because again, do you hear any other trainer out there talking this way? I know it's difficult to hear these things, but it's like having a friend that's going to tell you what you want to hear. The motives are good because they do want you truly to have a better relationship with your dog. Because I say this all the time, better to fail on your, and I don't want to see anyone fail, but better to fail with the right information and stand on your own 2 feet than not even have a chance at the beginning. That's what's happening here. People, balance trains, they're putting out this information that doesn't line up. Okay, so when you don't have the right result, or you're stuck with the dog that you feel like you can't fix anything, and you're locked into this managing a problem situation, it just must be the way it is. That's a terrible situation to be put in. And then all the excuses, right? And they just move on. Next dog. See, it's just like going through a drive-through. That's where we're at. And then so the blame shifting, the euthanizing dogs ending up in shelters, breed-specific bans, it's all become normalized. I mean, so certain breeds, such as pit bulls, they're going to expose the underbelly of this. This is why, you see these trainers getting blindsided, right? Oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh, yeah, that's what happens, right? Because it's the idea of things. It's offering a false image of change. What they see is change. They're not dialed into the relationship that way. Just like a parent being dialed into the relationship with a child. So again, their role, what defines influence. So again, my encouragement is check out the content I put out. This is a real system. Okay, I'm having a real conversation with dog owners, but ultimately my goal is to help everyone on their journey. To get to even to break out of this bondage of this ideology, break out of it. Like, science should be exciting. Okay. I mean, this is garbage. Like, break out of it. Don't buy into what these balanced and force-free trainers are saying. Just because something's popular doesn't mean it's the truth. And that holds true with the dog training world. This is garbage. Take a look at all the problems. Like, before you even leave a comment on one of my videos, why don't you take a tour of the dog training world for like a month? And then come back and then, and then reevaluate what you're going to say, because, don't take my word for it. Go look at what's happening. Do you think that's an accident? I mean, really? And then watch my videos. And so again, get wise to what's happening. The dog training world is in the state that it's in for a reason. Here's the thing: it's gonna get worse. Okay, if I removed all my videos and I walked away tomorrow, the dog training world's still heading on the same path it's heading. Nothing's going to change. So the only difference is I'm speaking up, so a few people can maybe take hold of the information and get wise to it. But here's my other point: is I can't do this on my own, and so I would encourage anyone. You can share my videos. I would encourage people to put the message out. But stop supporting these trainers. I mean, you don't even have to support me, okay? Just don't support that. Just stop liking and viewing and following these people. I mean, do you ever wonder that some of these people have millions of followers? They wake up every morning, they're like, that's what they're driven by. In fact, I understand the first thing they do when they come onto my videos is they will make fun of and mock the fact that I don't have. That's how twisted this has become. I don't have the viewers they have or the followers they have. Now, I've gained a lot more followers here recently, and I would like to think for the right reasons, and I appreciate that. But my goal has never been about being popular, because I knew that wasn't what it was about. I knew what this idea represented: popularity based on, this corrupt garbage idea of things, which devalues dogs. So, so my encouragement is remove your support from these individuals at the very least, and then go from there. But stop remove that, because all you're doing, that's part of the problem. That's what's generating these people to let them just keep pushing this forward and not be accountable to anybody. They just feel like they're at a level now. I don't care what Dale has to say or anyone else. I mean, I just he's got whatever. Let's see how it happens. But trust me, if one of my videos takes off and gets a million views, that's going to cause a tremendous racket. Okay, I mean, in a good way. So I mean, understand that's because that's what it is. That's that's a criteria. Is based on just sheerly popularity. It's so appearance based. It's so, talk about narcissism. It's so, because everything else is appearance based. Why would you think that anything else would be the focus? There wouldn't be. It's not going to be based on anything deep or meaningful or what the truth is. Everything's superficial. That's why TikTok has become very popular, even for a lot of these dog trainers, because it's just about appearances, response, right? No depth, no connecting dots properly. Just trust what they're saying. So again, check out my information I put out, very specific. I talk about the problem, but also the solution by way of a intentional interaction-based approach. Thanks for watching.